And so, the most obese American-style colossus, the Panther Clipper, somehow squeezed between Zorgon Peterson's tiny thighs. With so much afterbirth, you could feed the starving Alliance village. Yep, that's how we're starting this thing off. Welcome to my TED Talk. The titular Panther Clipper. This ship's name actually popped up in game files since the very beginning, I think. Except that now we have a new incentive to sell more microtransactions to the game-hating suckers. And of course, Frontier are certainly happy to oblige the community for its desire for the big booty cargo haulers. Honestly, I don't know whether to laugh or cry. But regardless, finally, Lakon and Gutemaya are dethroned from the cargo game by Delacy. Bastard child Zorgon, who before this was making balls-to-the-wall combat ships and that one weird beginner shuttle that's closer to a pavement slab than an actual space vessel. But hey, everyone likes to experiment from time to time. And boy oh boy, what an experiment this is. 10 whole hard points for your turreted needs, cause gods know you ain't gonna coax this thing into a turning corner anytime soon. Yet, weirdly, it has exactly the same rotational speed overall as Type 9. Yeah, you heard me right. And sure, there are slight differences, but generally, it's the same as Type 9. Except... Panther Clipper is faster. Wait, what? The most expensive ship in the current roster. For 300 million sweaty credit stacks, you get exactly what you see. The Big Bertha, the Chungus McDungus, the space brick like no other. Basically, your mother. Wait, I got a few more. The Lord Tub. Body positive ship. Frontier Development's microtransaction sweatshop. Alright, I'm good. However, looking under the hood, again, I'm getting a little confused. But before we get into the confusion together, first the looks. From the outside, there is no confusion. This is yet another ship maker and game that copies that one ship from Prometheus, but with all the moving thrusters and all. I mean, okay, fine, it's hard to deny that the extraction is not appreciated, though it gets a little funny when you trigger the boost and your thrusters are still pointing downwards with the landing gear, yet nothing happens. And possibly my favorite little detail, the lateral thrusters are basically repurposed small ship's engines. Yup, that's how fat your mama is. It needs a spaceship to roll over. But speaking of the looks, why does Panther Clipper feel smaller than Type 9? Well, the answer to that question is simple. And the same reason why fat chicks get laid on the closing time at the neighborhood's bars. Barely working eyes of the soon-to-be victims, and contouring. Sharp angles are aggressive, edgelordy, and loud, while soft edges and corners are petite and masking. Honestly, I'm not sure what Zorgon tried to accomplish by trying to hide the girthiness of Panther, but they really missed out in making the biggest ship feel truly colossal with those soft edges. So then looking inside, yep, once again I'm reminded, oh, it would have been cool if you had ship interiors. And as if Zorgon couldn't help themselves again, the insides of the ship, or at least as little as we have in the cockpit, have very strong Nostromo vibes. Honestly, did the designers binge-watch alien movies while making this thing? Well, if that's the case, well, then where's my scary mommy? Oh, and look, they included exposed wires for a ship that costs how much? What? Oh, and to make things even better, who forgot to bolt in the 5th co-pilot seat for symmetry? Wait, what's that? Multicrew's a piece of shit. We all know that, right? What? Oh, you can't have more multicrew crew? Well, that's retarded. Okay, whatever. Okay, so apparently because of the space magic bullshit, namely incompetent legacy feature, you can't have the 5th seat. So pull up a wooden stool for your 5th mate, in case you actually have friends, and call it the loser stool. So get in, loser, let's look at the performance. And what a better way to start but with the visibility of this massive thing. So yeah, hey, do you want to repeat Evergreen? Because this is how you repeat Evergreen, but in space. Yeah, the small visibility out of the ship make me think, or rather dread, of Beluga Liner Jams 2.0. The mail slot Boogaloo. Yeah, seriously, this is the reason why cruise liners have these things. Or cameras. Yeah, this is the year 3000 whatever the fuck, and you tell me that you can't equip your oil tanker, the largest in the galaxy, with, $10 TMU cameras? Oh, what's next? We're gonna be fighting off space Somali pirates inside our ship too? Oh, right, no ship interiors. Right, that would be too much excitement for space dads to handle. Yeah, let's just make sure that we drain their wallets with microtransactions first, before they keel over and fucking die. Yep, priorities. Alright, I think I've rambled enough about nothing, so let's talk about the meat and potatoes, with a side dish of dog shit. The real performance. So yeah, about those 10 hard points, it's an interesting choice, though power-wise it won't be beating Type 10 and damage contest out yet, but I seriously question the need for so many on a goddamn oil tanker? I mean, seriously, are you gonna go out there instead of just being attacked by Somali pirates, but go hunt them now instead as well? In this? All the while 6 utility points, again, interesting choice that actually fits. But let's not mince words. The price of 300 million and cargo capacity of 1,238. Or if you have the FOMO bullshit modules, you can unlock in a super limited time event, at 1,296 ton capacity. Over 500 tons more than the next largest cargo ship, the Cutter, with its measly 794 tons at max. So yes, if you turned on your brain, it's over 60% more cargo space than the closest two competitors, the Cutter and Type 9. And to make all this possible, Cargo Rack's exclusive slots and the brand new Panther exclusive Cargo Rack Mark II module has been solely invented for this ship's existence. I mean, fuck, talk about overkill. Hell, even slapping 50 more tons on something like a Type 9 would have caused the whole trading and botting communities to salivate like this is the next Lizzo for the fatty kink enjoyers. But this is just obscene and obese. Now granted, this massive positive comes at a price, is what I would usually say, and everyone would be happy. However, this ship was invented to sell those microtransactions and held hostage for 3 months to make sure that the most eager players, most likely space dads, shell out the money. So, yeah, that's right, I'ma complain about the game balance now. So then, despite being the fattiest fat fuck of the entire ship roster, Panther Clipper somehow has exactly the same rotational speeds as Type 9. No, seriously, it is the same. And as if that wasn't enough, to pour lemon juice in Type 9's eyes, Panther, somehow, in some way, in some space wibbly wobbly magic bullshit, is capable of flying a lot faster than Type 9 as well. Like, seriously, how can a space oil tanker be more usable than a space barge? Like, no, seriously, how? But you know, that's just small insignificant potatoes. So how about the second most important stat for the cargo ships? The jump range. Well, of course here, Panther Clipper also can jump further than Type 9, despite being, twice as heavy. Wait, what? Yep, you heard me right. Panther Clipper is better in all aspects than Type 9. I mean, god damn it, I'm all for interesting ship designs, but this is straight up obscene. So let me explain.
Alright then, so every ship in Elite Dangerous follows a specific, simple rule. For cargo ships specifically, performance can be replaced with the cargo space. So the more cargo space you want, the more exponentially you will have to pay more money for the ship itself. Now, in Elite Dangerous, for trading gameplay, jump range is the second most important fact, and that also goes in relation with the cargo space. More specifically, the line will go like this. The more cargo space you have, the less jump range overall you're going to be capable of. After all, it's obvious, even though in space you're weightless, mass still exists, and that does have effect on your maneuverability and top speed, as well as acceleration and other factors. And as a matter of fact, quite a lot of games follow this very basic and obvious rule, not only based on reality, but also just simply for the gameplay purposes. However, with the release of Panther Clipper, I decided to put a spreadsheet together to just see what is going on with the stats and whether or not they make sense. So when it came to the stats that I chose to pick up, one of them was obviously the max jump range, then laden max jump range with the trade build, cargo capacity of course, max speed, max boost speed as well, max cargo top speed, and can you guess what I found? Well, let's take a look. In this chart for your reference, the first ship is Type 6, then Type 7, Type 8, then Type 9, and Cutter And then finally Panther Clipper. As you can see in the chart, like I said previously, the more cargo you're carrying, the more expensive the ship goes. With the exception of course the Clipper, which compensates everything in some places else. But overall the line follows the square root. Then the next line represents the maximum jump range while carrying the maximum cargo capacity. In the proper game design theory, technically the line should be going either straight downwards or with a little bit of a curve there. And that's what mostly Elite Dangerous does follow. With of course with one exception, as you can see, that would be the cutter here. And Panther Clipper, which in fact goes up rather than down. Now does that make sense? Next, to emphasize the problem with it, we have the maximum jump range with the cargo capacity, and that definitely should be going downwards in a straight line, and yet it's not. Here you can definitely see the Panther Clipper is definitely way too high, while Cutter, as usual, it compensates quite a lot with the price, so it is deserving on the top there. Then we move on to the max laden speed, as in carrying all the cargo capacity versus the cargo capacity itself. And here we definitely can see the Panther Clipper is weirdly faster than even Type 8 and Type 7. Then looking over the max boost speed overall versus the cargo capacity, and we can see definitely Type 8 also joining the shenanigans. Now it really doesn't take a genius to realize why Type 8 and definitely Panther Clipper are so out of tune with the rest of the ships, and why they are noticeably better, not just in line with the rest of them. So do not kid yourselves, this is textbook example of what the overpowered looks like. It's an exception to the game rule with a very noticeable effect. Oh, and of course let's not forget that Panther Clipper is also SEO optimized to boot. I honestly don't think I need to explain this to developers, but to audience. Remember, making an overpowered ship or an item in-game actually makes less sense, gives less options, and makes the game a lot more boring.
Oh, but of course, there's always those who are eager to defend a multi-million-dollar company.
I did the math and I only need the $18 ARX pack, which honestly is not a lot. So do you guys think Panther is worth 19,000 ARX points? Very much worth supporting the developers continuing to release new content.
Now, first things first, it's really interesting to see people misattribute money value in games, especially. For $18, you can get a fully finished game. Sure, it's not going to be a AAA game, but then again, neither is Elite Dangerous. Of course, in the recent times, Silksong comes to mind, but that's not the only one. Simple matter of fact is, these microtransactions are simply way too overpriced for what they offer in comparison, even to Elite Dangerous itself as the base game or expansion, even at the full price when it was released.
Careful now, gents. You say you support the dev with extra money 3 times, you'll summon the pay-to-win moaners, like TheYamiks, and will be spammed by comments like, "How do they dare to offer me to spend more money if I wish to on an online multiplayer game that has no subscription, no loot boxes, and kept alive updated for almost 11 years? We've paid our $30 on sale 10 years ago. Do these FDev have not enough? Pay to win!"
Right, so let's remember that it was the developer's decision to make an always online game and yet sell it not as a service like a subscription-based game, but as a premium game with one-time purchase. As for any future development or upkeep, it's really up to developers to decide what type of a monetization they're gonna go after, if they want to continue running those servers, or continue developing even more content for it. Now, back in the day, it used to be that for more content, of course, developers would hunker down and make an expansion, or at the worst case scenario, a smaller DLC with a bunch of little things in it. However, that costs a lot of manpower, time, and of course, effort. So in comparison, when it only takes a day, or at most a week, for an artist to pump out a bunch of cosmetics and sell them all for $5, without any limit, and then there's no wonder what type of monetization practice most game developers tend to add, even for premium games, as in games that you pay for in the first place to actually access. But cosmetics are just one thing. Pay to win is even more effective, and yet it does bring friction to the game. So many developers tend to avoid using it, or at least try to hide it. However, all these microtransactions have a cascade effect. See, justifying this purchase as saying, well, I'm supporting developers and further development of the game for more content, and while you're not exactly wrong, you're not exactly right either. See, shenanigans begets more shenanigans. For example, there's a bakery on the street corner. They sell eclairs and baguettes. Now obviously baguettes are a lot easier to create. And so let's imagine that one day people start buying a lot more baguettes for whatever reason. And they're also cheaper overall. So they're overall more appealing. So with a lot more demand and profit per sale, even though it is a cheaper product, naturally the store would drift towards making more baguettes overall. And obviously your and your employees' time is limited, so you can't make as many eclairs anymore. And sure, maybe some of those profits will go into expanding the store at some point or fixing the leaking pipes somewhere. But what is definitely guaranteed by the purchase of those baguettes is that more baguettes will be made. And even then, if the store gets an upgrade or some sort of a fix, it most likely will be in order to facilitate more baguette making than eclair making. And the same thing goes with the games as well. The more people buy microtransactions overall, obviously more microtransactions are being developed. That's 100% guarantee. And sure, some of that money might be put back into the game, and maybe even develop new content for it. But that developed new content will also probably be made in order to facilitate even more microtransaction sales, rather than overall game's quality. And sure, there might be some happy overlap, but that's not a guarantee. So every time you buy microtransactions in a game, remember that primarily what you are supporting by buying those microtransactions is more microtransaction development and content surrounding them or facilitating them, not the overall game's quality or its further improvements. There might be overlap, but again, it's a happy coincidence at most. However, if you truly, honestly, really love the game and want it to get better, want to support it and the developers, buy the game. Buy it for your friend. Buy the expansions, because those directly support and signal the company that you want the content, not the microtransactions and the cheap crap that comes along with it. Oh, and you know what the funniest thing was? The biggest outrage about this ship came not because of its stats or how it was handled, but when the developers increased the price for the Panther Clipper package. Ooh, that's when the space dads get angry. Oh, the ship is really good, like too good and makes everything obsolete? Oh, that's not a problem. The pay to win? Oh, no, that's also not a problem. Oh, they increased the price of the pay to win? Oh, well, now the pitchforks are coming out.
I strongly disagree with the price hike that's coming with the Panther Clipper, even though I'm all for Frontier selling early access to the new ships. I understand they need the revenue stream to continue developing the game, and so far I think I've gotten great return on developers in terms of new content for what I've paid. However, an arbitrary price hike is testing the waters, and just letting it happen we open the door for a lot of potential issues down the road.
Yes. I mean, already the train has sailed with the early access being introduced in the first place, but sure, why not?
The justification for charging for new ships in early access was that Frontier Development needs money to maintain a live service game.
No, actually no. Developers have never come out, to my knowledge, ever to address why they actually needed to introduce these new ships and this microtransaction into the game in the first place. They've never said it. Yet, at the same time, because it is, well, obviously a more draconic pay-to-win, whatever you want to call it, type of a microtransaction, and because this thing is forced upon you without your knowledge or approval, you have no choice but to accept it and take it up the ass like a good little sheep, or be like, let's say, TheYamiks and just start complaining about it and be negative about it. So then the immediate rationalization is that, oh well, the game will die, or we accept this thing, and it's better to accept this thing than letting the game die. Like, no, developers never said that they would be shutting down the game, at least not publicly. So the fact that Frontier Developments needs this money and needs to price hike it just to save the game is a literal speculation without any merit or conjecture.
I don't think it's a big deal at all. Elite Dangerous is insanely cheap for what it is. You can buy the deluxe edition on Steam sales for $10, and that gives you potentially thousands of hours of playtime. I don't know any other game that comes close to the value, excluding free-to-play games, and even those usually have some kind of crazy monetization schemes. If we want Elite Dangerous to survive 10 more years, we have to accept ways for Frontier Developments to continue making money from the player base. I prefer early access over monthly subscription fee, and I assume most other people do too.
Okay, so we have plenty of fallacies. Let's start with the whole time versus value thing. So just because you purchase the game for, say, $1 or $60 or maybe $200, it doesn't make it more worth whether or not you have played 1,000 hours or 1 hour. A comparison to ridiculousness of this argument, I often like to use this. Hey, you can buy a broken, really jagged edge broom that is really hard to use for 1 penny and continuously use it for 10,000 hours. Will that actually mean that that broken broom was a good product? Or worth your money or time? Well, no, obviously not. And this is basically a slightly different sunk cost fallacy. You can try playing, forcing yourself, or hell, even maybe enjoy playing the game for 200 hours that you pay $200 for. And yeah, you can justify that value to yourself, but that's just to yourself, not everyone else. Also, the mention of free-to-play games and them usually having crazy monetization schemes. Sure, yeah, Elite is not like your most typical free-to-play game, but Elite does still have obscurity of the actual value through the ARX points, and the sale of cosmetics, and of course sale of actual functional parts of the game, like the ship packages. So, again, it's really not that far off. And finally, the most important one. If we want Elite Dangerous to survive 10 more years or whatever amount of time, we have to accept ways for Frontier developments to continue making money from the player base. I'm sorry, but that's literally just fanboy talk. You will accept no matter what, just to keep your favorite toy working. No, seriously, this is literally what fanboyism is incarnate. You liked something so much that you're willing to forgo any rational thought, to accept whatever is being plopped in front of you, no matter how bad it is. Is really that how you want to see your favorite product? Are you the fan of the game that you're playing, that you're enjoying, or are you a fan of the dev team? Like seriously, for example, the developers decide one day to utterly shit on the game and make it as worse as possible. With that sort of a sentence, you can justify what the fuck ever you want. This kind of a thinking truly embodies what fanboyism is. Just thoughtless, mindless consumerism as long as you got the jingling keys in front of you. It's pathetic. And at that point, can you even say that you like, love, or enjoy the game? What are your loyalties then? Is it to see the game that you like to get better? Or is it wild abandonment just to keep it on life support at any cost? Even your own enjoyment? Or is it something else? I'm really confused, because fanboyism is something I don't often see, but here we are. Still, at the end of the day, the fact is, Frontier could have released a cargo ship that could beat both Clipper and Cutter just by a little bit, while still adhering to the normal game design rules like showcased before. But of course that would mean that it would be the most lumpiest, slowest ship in the game, and we can't have negatives if we want to sell as many microtransactions as possible. That's how indirectly and directly pay-to-win affects games. Things have to be designed to be either super good, or rest of the game becomes super bad. I'm just sad. Not only for Type 9 now is completely worthless, but also developers are no longer developers, but marketing managers who are not interested in making better game. So, yeah, Panther Clipper, your mama of ships, so fat it even breaks game design.